Update: I messed up by getting tested to donate a kidney to my wife. Original post: I decided to get tested to see if I could donate my kidney to my wife of 6 years. We have 2 kids together, 4 female, 2 male. My wife got sick just after our son was born and now is in need of a kidney transplant. We checked with her relatives and none were a match or a viable donor. So last week I got tested. I knew it would be a long shot, so I decided to get tested to see if I could donate. I got a call the other day saying that I was a match. The doctor then said something about wanting to do additional testing due to some information from the HLA tissue test results. I didn't think much of it and agreed. Then the results came in. I was shocked and confused. He explained that because of how DNA information is passed down through generations, a parent to a child could have at least a 50% match. Siblings could have a 0 to 100% match, but it was rare to have a high match as husband and wife. I asked what does that mean, and he said that my wife and I have an abnormally high match percentage. Long story short, we're related. No, I'm not kidding. I was put up for adoption before I was born, placed into a family that moved across the country. I knew I was adopted, but we didn't have any information about my bio family as it was a closed adoption. I met my wife by chance 8 years ago. I was on a trip from work and she was working at the site I went to. We worked together for a week, exchanged numbers, and kept in touch. I was sent back there 3 more times that year, and each time we became closer. I was given the opportunity to be transferred out there in a new higher paying position in a different department as hers, and the rest is history. I don't know what to do moving forward, but I know it may be wrong. She is my wife and the mother of our kids. This post is probably going to get removed, but it is all true. Edit: all of my family is from my adopted parents. My parents adopted me 2 minutes after I was born. Even their name is on my birth certificate. They have not told me anything about my bio parents and don't have any info. Her family is not a match as stated above. Most of her family has low match potential or can't donate due to medical or other reasons. I am 2 years older than my wife, and I do know that my wife was born when her parents were late teens. Now for the top comments before reading the update. You already have kids and they are assumedly healthy since you didn't mention any crazy abnormalities. If you're happy, you're happy. Donate the kidney to your sister/wife and continue being great parents to your children. Look at the bright side. You can give your wife many other years to live, and your children a healthy mother they can grow with. It's a miracle. Maybe you are related, maybe not. Who gives a damn? You can save your wife, dude. That's what really matters. Like you said, there is also the chance they are not related. No point blowing a good marriage up over a possibility. Hello, I'm a clinical laboratory scientist working in a histocompatibility and immunogenetics lab, aka transplant lab. I do the testing to find out if recipients and donors are matches through genetic typing, donor-specific antibody testing, etc. What a doctor is talking about is likely haplotype mismatches. When doing HLA typing, we are looking at haplotypes for the class 1 and class 2 genes you receive from each parent. When we are comparing a non-biological donor to a recipient, there can be a few haplotype matches due to population frequency, or no haplotype matches. When comparing a biological donor to a recipient like siblings, they have a 50% chance of being haploidentical. Parents are always haploidentical to their children. This analysis tells us how likely organ rejection could be. So, if you are haploidentical to your wife, you are biological siblings. If it's only a few haplotype matches, you could be cousins, or potentially not related and it's random assortment, meaning you got lucky. But I can't say what the answer is without seeing the haplotypes myself. I also want you to know that it is possible that that doctor is talking out of his butt. Transplant medicine is a very new science that is still being developed today. Some of the doctors that I work with are extremely knowledgeable and know way more than me about this science. But some of the doctors that I work with, I frequently wonder where they got their degree. So don't blindly trust this guy. You should probably see a geneticist for confirmation. Now for the update. Yes, I do have bad grammar and spelling. Yes, I'm stressed and freaking out. Yes, I can play the banjo. No, there were no genetic tests when we got married. Our state stopped that in the 90s. No, my wife has never been stuck in a dryer, but she once got stuck under the bed. Joke. The reason I did not go into much detail is to try to not be so specific that I or my wife might be recognized. Well, the front page of Reddit didn't help with that. Thank you all for your comments and feedback. I didn't respond to them, but I did read all of them. The reason her family couldn't donate was that close relatives had some medical issues that prevent them from donating. Examples: high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heavy drinkers, and more. I wanted to be tested because we needed to find someone. The doctor said it would be unlikely, but wouldn't hurt to try. I was freaking out after I got the news and had to get outside advice. When the doctor said that the percentage was abnormally high and that we might be related, I kind of zoned out and started to piece things together in my mind. My parents live 8,000 miles away. They met my in-laws a few times, once at my wedding and when both my children were born. My children are fine. My daughter is incredibly smart for her age. My son is handful and healthy. The way my adoption worked was when my bio mom gave birth to me, I was checked out and put in a different room. I was there, but don't know how it officially worked. From what my parents explained, they were in that room waiting. They never met my bio mom in person. My bio mom only had a profile and picked them out of many candidates. I called my parents and told them that I needed to know everything they knew about my bio mom. They told me that they had limited knowledge. They said she was a single mom that was 16 years old and the father was not in the picture. Also, that I was born in a hospital 1 hour from where my wife was born. Like I said, limited knowledge. Growing up, I didn't want to find out about my bio parents. To me, my parents were always my parents. I knew I was adopted and that it was a closed adoption. I figure it wouldn't matter long term. I'm not going to do an additional at-home DNA test through any of the traditional testing sites like 23 or Ancestry due to personal reasons, like the possibility of the family finding out. The doctor said all of this to only me, not with my wife present. Some of the additional tests were done through the doctor, which was the CM test. I'm not an expert on DNA testing. They said it was like a 1900 plus CM match. This basically confirms one of my bio parents is one of hers. It can also mean first cousins or aunt/uncle, but I'm guessing her dad. When my kids were born, my parents brought photos of me as a baby and commented that I and my son looked a lot like my wife's dad. My son was easily explainable, but all three of us are a different story. I'm not going to bring this up ever. I might look at my father-in-law differently, but nothing will hopefully change. I am donating my kidney to my wife. We have started the full process. That takes time and a lot of preparation, but I do plan on talking to my wife after the surgery and after recovery. We will decide what to do with our kids, if we are going to get them tested or ever tell them. No, I will not be leaving my wife. I love and will always be there for her. I made vows, and I will keep them. I love her more than I would a half-sister. Edited to Ed. I do plan on telling her after the surgery. She's not doing well, and I think this will be even harder for her. I would rather her know that I love her as a husband, rather than flip her world upside down right before a life-changing and dangerous surgery, if something were to happen. Telling our kids is not a decision I'm going to make on my own. It will be a joint thing after my wife knows. You're a good husband and father. And brother. Too soon, man. Too soon. You're doing a good thing. Despite what you know now, your priority is to the person you love. You had no idea how genetically close you were until this moment, and your wife needs help. It will be a huge shock to her, and maybe the best thing to do would be to tell your kids when they are mature enough to take the information seriously. Obviously, that's something you and your wife will have to talk about. If I had found this out about me and my other half, we have an 18-year-old daughter together. It would not change how I feel about them, but I would definitely not have any more kids in case complications arose. I hope that the transplant is a success, and that you both enjoy a lot more time together. Best comment I have read on this or the previous one. I can't get what fun people are finding in a critical situation that's out of everybody's hands. I totally feel for OP, and think he is handling the situation wonderfully. I would view it as a blessing that he's so closely related to his wife, because now he can save her life with his kidney. His children are not degenerate mutants and will, in all likelihood, have healthy kids of their own someday. But if you can't see what's funny about OP's situation, I don't know what to tell you. It's a ridiculous situation. There are tons of great jokes in these threads, but OP seems to be being a good sport about it all. Anthropology background here. This isn't as big of a deal as you think. In general, there isn't a huge genetic danger for first cousins marrying. In some cultures, cousin marriage isn't even taboo. The genetic difference for half-siblings is similar. Oh, don't get me wrong. If enough cousins and other kin keep marrying over and over for generations, like the Habsburgs, then it can be a problem. But the prohibition against these stuff is more taboo than science. The thing is, even if you married your half-sister or cousin, it doesn't matter. You didn't do so on purpose, so there's no moral issue. No one but you knows, so there's no taboo issue. The genetic risk is low and non-existent if there are no dangerously reinforceable genes. And it sounds like you have healthy children. Stop worrying about this. There's nothing to see here. Exactly. Unless it's multiple times in multiple generations, or there's a rare recessive disease, it doesn't really matter. The incest taboo is really about family relationships and power dynamics, no genetics. If you didn't grow up together as part of the same family unit, and you didn't even know about a genetic relationship until after getting together, then the taboo really doesn't apply. Some people may still have a visceral reaction because the taboo is that deeply seated, but when you think about it logically, the reasoning falls apart. Now, for the last story, I will never make myself vulnerable again. My 23 male broke up with my ex-girlfriend last month over some privacy issues as she circulated my pictures in her girl group. Since then, she's trying to reach me out. I've blocked her from all my contacts and social, but she texts or calls me from her friends or some random numbers and shows up at my house. Today again, she showed up at my house and wanted to be back together again and how she was sorry. I asked her to leave and that we are never getting back together. I don't know what happened. She just snapped and started screaming. Mind you, I live with my parents and we have a big neighborhood, and she was screaming on my front door. She said, "You know what? It's good that you won't be together with me, because who wants to be with a man that can't protect himself from getting assaulted? And you deserve it. Men like you are nothing but P-words, and you deserve to be violated." I never expected this to happen, and I didn't know how to react. She went on a rant, but I don't remember hearing anything because I just went numb. All I know is my parents were rushing for me, and my neighbor aunt helping me to go back in the house. Everything was blurred to me for I don't know what amount of time, and I have panic attacks. I have been assaulted on 2 different occasions. Once when I was probably 13. On a vacation, a middle-aged man started a conversation with me and wanted to know if I was active. He then proceeded to hold my junk, try to kiss me, and wanted me to take to his room, but I managed to get away from there. Second was when 19. I was in college. I used to live in a studio apartment and befriended a couple next door. Long story short, they drugged me and violated me. I tried to press charges, but the wife threatened to press charges herself on me. And in the country where I am, men have no laws for cases like this and can be charged for it, no questions asked, only on basis of a woman's statement. I still remember when I told some of my friends in my group, and the men congratulated me for the group activity. The women just said that maybe I understood finally what they go through, and they were glad that I won't do the same to any girl since I know how it feels. And they had a laugh about it. Since then, I have avoided talking about it to anyone. My ex-girlfriend was the only one who I told later, and supported me. She helped me heal and open up and talk about it. But today I again realized that it's all an act. All my life I have heard from various people to be a man, suck it up, or never make yourself vulnerable in front of anyone, or men don't cry. Today I finally understand why. This incident is probably going to change me for the best. Something personal to me was shared with everyone against my choice. Since afternoon, a lot of people have come to my home and tried to talk to me. Looks of sympathy, telling me it's fine, etc. Meanwhile, my parents are worried and crying because they feel like they failed to protect me. This was the final time I have let anyone come close to me and be vulnerable. Never again. Now for the comments. She's undeserving. To use your trauma to attack you after losing your trust is disgusting. I really hope you can heal from this. Society's so messed up that men getting violated is considered a lucky encounter or circumventing bad actors. Who the heck thinks like that? Sick people, man. Sick. Who thinks like that? Lots of people. Makes me sick. Why don't men open up about their trauma? Man opens up. Women uses that information to re-traumatize him at the moment he is most vulnerable. Why don't men open up about their trauma? 100% dude. Not anywhere as bad as OP, but I've learned to never open up to partners about my childhood if I still want them to be with me. And there has been plenty of posts on here from guys saying the same sort of things. I cried while reading this. I am so sorry, Opie. OMG, I can't believe she did that. I literally just talked about a person like this. Who makes you feel safe talking to them about your vulnerabilities and secrets and upsetting pasts, only to have it in their arsenal to one day use against you when they deem fit? In my case, it was mostly used to take away all the things she saw made me happy and have it for herself. Her case is much more painful, in so many ways, and I'm just crying. I am so sorry. She's a witch, but I'm assuming many have voiced themselves about this already. If anything, this post has made me angry. So angry that I will be much more actively fighting for men's rights in cases like this whenever I can. That couple, that freaking woman, those kinds of people who abuse power are the filth on this planet. The absolute filth. For what it's worth, you are not lesser of a man or anything. You're disgusting POS of an ex said for what happened to you. Anyone can be victim of this. That doesn't make you lesser of a person. The people who are the lesser ones are the abusers, offenders, and the people who brush it off / laugh at you for it. Disgusting scum. Friends? You need new friends. Seriously, those aren't friends at all. I hope you're doing a bit better at the moment, OP. I know this goes against what your news stands in life, but if you ever need to talk about anything, I'm always open, and whatever you convey will stay between the virtual walls. I know trust is low in you right now, but just putting the offer out there. I wish I could give you a big hug. You deserved nothing of what you told us. Wishing you all the love and support in the world. Take it from a man that was victimized at 18 by a gay person, and also fathering my 15-year-old niece who was victimized under 4 years of age. I personally am afraid of my reaction to this kind of verbal mistreatment because I feel my reflex will be to witch slap her. I'm not kidding. Anyone says this vile garbage in my eyes deserves an organized beating. My aunt, mother, and sisters would be at a chick's throat for this kind of evil behavior.